You know, there's a lot of artists out there that have taken the time to post how-to videos about how to paint, how to set up, how to do just about everything. I'm not one of those. I'm one that I've been painting for many years, but when it comes down to all the technical things, I'm not real up on. So what we're going to show here is what happens next. What happens after you watch the videos and you think you got it down, and you know at some point you're going to have to smear some paint around. So that's where this takes off. I make no comment about being the right way to do something. You may have the chance to learn how not to do the right thing, or sometimes it turns out pretty decent. But that's what we're going to start with. The scene you have there, this is in Zion National Park a few years ago, and this is along the Watchman Trail. We decided not to go up the trail because of this particular staircase, because we were going to go up and do the Emerald Ponds that day. So I've got a bad picture. This thing's taken it directly into the sun, and when I printed, the printer wasn't too concerned about color. Neither am I. All I wanted to see is the light and the darks, and then somehow sketch this thing, because it's a real challenge. More than a decade ago, we were painting our house, and as we got towards the end, I had a little bit of paint left over in the can, and it was starting to set, and it was kind of a mess. But I didn't want to waste it. I don't like wasting things. So what I did instead is I grabbed a piece of hardboard that had been laying around and just goobered the paint on that, and then left it to dry. I wasn't sure that paint would adhere to this, because that was latex paint and it was thick and it's kind of slippery. So I just started out last night slapping this on and doing some drawing. I'm looking, of course, for just light and darks at the moment, and I'm thinking that does have some potential. But what a mess! What a mess! This is a bad photo that I'm working on. My camera was in cahoots with the printer to make a poor quality image. I'm not really don't really care too much about the colors. I'm more interested in the lights and the darks. I know what the colors are, and I have other photos. I was shooting straight into the sun. You can see my finger up on the top right here. So it's pretty much a trash photo, and that's all I've got to go with. So you won't see this anyplace else. I don't think we're going to mess around with this. It's going to take months probably. You can see I'm trying to do the drawings and the perspective is off, so we're going to be playing around with that kind of thing and finding out if you can really paint on something this rough. Of course, these are rocks and it is a mountain and all that, so maybe we can do something. So hang in there if you like. We're going to figure out how to do this wrong probably, and then figure out how to do it right, or close to that. All I'm trying to do is grab the feeling that we had when we looked at the staircase and thought, oh my gosh, you know, we have another trip planned, or another hike planned that was going to be all day, and we just snapped the picture and ran for the bus. Well, I've certainly made a mess of this. Looks like I have a ladder instead of a stairway. The other issue is this is the halfway line, so I can't be there. I don't want it to switch over at that time. And if we go up a little bit, this is the second set of stairs, and it's not really, it just kind of continues. And then I want this to be the top, so we're going to have to bring this mountain down into this area. Let's have a look at this photo. I know the color's not good, but the printer wasn't cooperating that day. If we go up to the top stair, the last stair before the edge of the cliff, you can see it's only about that big. So if I bring that down here, that's the difference that we have to come up with. Now on this second tier, the biggest piece is right there. So as I bring that down, it's almost halfway. It's almost halfway into here, but not quite. And that's what I was missing. I'm also missing this little outtake here, and I probably won't have room for this log. If this goes well, I'll keep the crown here. You can see the edge of the cliff like that. The big mountain in the back there kind of recedes into a fog. This was early morning, and goes down in here. But I got to be careful. I have to put a space here for the valley so that it gives a little bit more depth. And obviously none of those things show up yet. Alright, so I'm going to take this out to the edge like that, just like at this. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And that top one is going to be about half of this bottom one. So half of that bottom one is going to be about like this. And that's the top stairway. I don't want to lose this texture that's below it, because in the end that's going to probably be good. Okay, so that's going to be the very top. Now we got to bring. Yeah, this is. No, I got this labeled as top. Oh well. And then we're going to start with these, with that bottom rung. See if we can make any sense of that. Okay, so we're going like this, and then we get narrow. We get narrow about there. Now, is that half? Pretty close. Alright, so that's going to be this point. Make any sense? Good, it doesn't to me. Alright, so there's that first stair. And then coming over here, there's some other stuff going on. Don't really know what it is, but it's sort of an L. So that will be right about here. We've got blocks going like this. We've got this step. Steps will get bigger as we go, supposedly. That looks better already if you could use your imagination, which is probably a good thing. Looking any better? Just dry brushing some dry brushing brush. That's all the texture in there that came from that bad can of paint. Here, this is kind of like sky, and this is the actual big mountain. They're not always the red colors in this, but quite often, I guess. And we'll use this as some sunlight. Just coming around on that side. And now we're at the point where it's time to, that's too flat, make a ledge here. Time to put it away for a while and come back. Maybe later, maybe not. I don't like that straight line. Thought I did, but I don't. And this is actually the top of the stairs. So do something like that. And if I like it in the morning, we'll call it done. If I don't like it, it ain't done. A little more work needs to be done on the stairway itself, it looks like. But as we go up, might throw something that looks like leaves. And probably make the stairway a little bit brighter, a little bit redder. That's kind of the colors over there. But I'm not going to mess around too much longer with this one. I'm attempting to create a little bit of fog to separate the mountain in the background from the trail. Hard to tell how successful that's going to be. Some of this texture is looking like some type of shrubbery or whatever, so I may not do much with that. Haven't started on the stairs going up there. But I want to make this separate. The stairs will go up into a fog, and then in the background there we'll have. I thought I was going to make that a sky, but the temptation to capitalize on the texture is winning out at the moment. So we'll play around a little bit. And that's what it's all about. I usually mess around until I get frustrated with it, and then I just put it away for a while. Sometimes a while is a week, sometimes it's 20 minutes. You'll have to choose your own timeline. But all in all, it looks not too bad for the state that it's in. Leave a comment if you like, good or bad, doesn't matter. I'm not in this for the money, we're in it just for the entertainment value. Since the texture is so thick on this piece, the way I'm getting the highlights and whatnot is to just goober it on a little bit there. So once it's on there, you can either spray it or just get a wet rag, and then the highlights come back that were underneath it. That's why I like the heavier texture, but it is a royal pain to try and control. And a close-up there, it probably doesn't look like it's very foggy, but if you back out and get the totality of the piece, we'll call it, you can see that it might mimic a little bit of fog. That was real common when we were out there. You'd have this a mountain in the background and fog in between, and that fog was so heavy it was almost like a mist, and that does give the hopefully the illusion of depth. Not sure why, but I really find this these stairs intimidating. This is supposed to be the light side, and there's going to be a shadow side. So the shadow side should be right about there, there, there. This is just a dark green and the red. Getting out of whack. Who knows? I mean, it's pretty sloppy, but sometimes that's when I do my best. Well, it's looking a little better. Not much. Isn't that the fun of it, though, is trying to figure all this stuff out? I think I got my lights and darks mixed up here. but it's not supposed to be exact anyway. Yeah, we'll let that dry and see what it looks like. You've witnessed gallons of expensive paint expertly applied to canvas without fear of failure and with the stunning result by schooled artists. What now? Courage and optimism can only carry you to the moment when you realize that the blocked-in stage is dry. Painting panic has arrived. Don't worry so much about ruining your art. At one time or another, you will anyway, so why stress over it now? Nobody is born with painting software pre-installed. The act of painting is less important than learning how much paint is required on your paint application device to render a reasonable success. Relax and enjoy the process. Stop when you want to, or if you do throw something. Now take your brush out of your coffee and let's go have some more fun today. So, how long did it take you to learn to ride a bicycle?